All right, everybody. I am Michelet FPV, and we are here for the first annual YRZ Awards. That is the Young Ripper Awards to honor all of the young rippers out there in the world and in our server who just won't stop ripping, won't stop flying, and won't stop doing amazing things. So, YRZ. What is YRZ, you might be asking? YRZ is a collection of 13 to 21-year-old FPV drone pilots. Well, not just drones, of course. You also have your RC cars, your planes, or even just your simulators. Just anyone 13 to 21 interested in FPV who is looking for a community to get started into, learn how to, fly, learn how to have a good time, and just a safe place that they can go and grow into FPV before they, launch into their own endeavors or as they launch into their own endeavors. A lot of our pilots are doing great things already and working with great companies, and we have a lot of great people in YRZ, and we wanted to come together and honor a lot of those people who are really into YRZ and really, spend a lot of their time with us, and we hope to grow into a huge organization one day. And it was all started by the very own Bubby FPV, and shortly passed on to Bennett FPV. Now that Bubby has reached the age of 21 and has aged out of it, and I am here as the co-runner with Bennett to just assist him, you know, help him plan things and make things happen. To kick off the YRZ Awards, here are the categories that people were competing for and have won awards. We have the Team Player Award. We have the Underrated Pilot Award. We have the YRZ Spirit Award, the Best Edit Award, the Cleanest Build, the Crash of the Year, the FPV Joker, the Biggest Trick Award, the Best One Take, the Cinematic Pilot. So, best cinematic pilot. The Racer of the Year Award, the Most Improved, the Clip of the Year, a couple honorary mentions. Then we have the Lifetime Award, which is an award for, lifetime spent in YRZ and doing great things with us. We have the Flight of the Year, the Pilot of the Year, and the Freestyle King or Queen, depending on who won. And those are the awards that we currently have for the first annual YRZ Awards. And to kick things off, we'll be launching right in to the Team Player Award, announced by Bennett FPV.
Let's go. So for the team player award, we are going to have ParrotFPV. So Parrot is not a normal multi-rotor pilot. He actually flies airplanes, and the main thing that we've seen him do with these airplanes is that he will send them out insane distances, constantly pushing the boundaries with whatever system he has.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of Parrot recently. He's very communicative. He's very responsive within our own server and in the community. And every day he's talking about how he's going to go 1 kilometer further, half a kilometer further, 10 kilometers further. And I think if anyone is going to go far in long range FPV, I think it's going to be Parrot.
Oh yeah.
All right. For our second award, we have the Underrated Pilot Award. Now, out of everybody in YRZ, it was very hard to figure out, who's the most underrated, who holds so much value, but a lot of people don't know it yet. And well, once again, this award is going to Parrot FPV for a lot of the same reasons I just mentioned. I think in the scope of FPV, a lot of people might forget about planes or might not even notice planes as they get into the multi-rotor quadcopters, tricopters, quintuple copters. If there's a copter out there, somebody's made it. And a lot of people don't realize, how big planes are in FPV sometimes. And I think, especially with someone like Parrot who does digital long range right now, not even analog, and is going out insanely far distances. I think he is such an underrated pilot, and I can't wait to one day where he definitely is widely known as, the guy who can long range a plane all the way across the world.
Yeah. So Parrot FPV being really underrated. So anyone can just fly FPV drones. They for a long time were going extremely viral because of the way that they look. But Parrot, along with being underrated, not many people want to watch planes just sit going in the same direction for a long time. So the dedication that he has, that he's not just chasing views, chasing likes, no one really appreciates what he's doing in the technology that he's pushing. So that's why we wanted to give him the win today.
Yeah, it's very important for, the technology side of things. Radio technology is being pushed to its very limits every single day, and Parrot is definitely one of those people who is pushing transmission-based technology on both, controller and video end. I'm very proud to see what he's, been able to accomplish so far, and I'm very proud to hear that he strives for more each time.
Okay, so next up we have the YRZ Spirit Award. So this award is going to someone who is just always willing to be in the Discord, talking, just being a very positive influence in our community. And this award is going to Dudley. Dudley always has something to share, something kind to say, always wants to help out other people, and is just a very active member in our community.
Yeah, I've spoken to Dudley a lot uh, throughout the Discord, and man, I think if you're ever there ready to chat with somebody, whether he knows the info you're about to chat or not, whether it's science fiction or real science or anything, man, Dudley is always going to be one of the first people to see it and respond. And he's a good person to hold a conversation with, and he has a lot of the spirit of what makes YRZ a welcoming community, and that's really important to see. So he holds a lot of spirit for the community itself, and for himself as a person. And he's one hell of a pilot as well.
Right. Okay, so next up we have the best edit. And this edit is going to iFlyFPV, also known as Robbie Cooper. So he was able to incorporate his amazing skills of just standard cinematography alongside of these FPV drones, using them to show off just this truck almost as if it was a high-end commercial. We see Robbie Cooper both in his FPV side of flying, and also we see him just filming these rotor ride episodes and doing all this stuff on the side. So we've been able to see him just grow and get so much better in the whole cinematography sphere.
Yeah, I'm very proud of where Robbie's going and how far he's come. I remember meeting him actually. I met him in my first rampage, and I believe my second rampage. I think I saw him there too. Not fully sure about that, but I remember meeting him in my first rampage, and when I met all the people from YRZ that went to rampage, and it was a great experience. It was a great experience. He's a really great dude, and he's going to go really far with cinematography. He's from the same state, I lived in for a while in Maryland, and he does a lot of great things out there. Next up in the YRZ Awards, we have the Cleanest Build Award. Now, this one means a lot, I think, as, a staple of FPV. Because, there's some people who will have a drone they don't even fly just because they like how it looks, and they'll have a second one that they do fly, just because they don't want to ruin the first one. And, it's always about the style points, as you know. You can do tricks a lot easier if your drone looks cleaner. That's a true fact, by the
Yep,
way.
it is.
And I think out of all the submissions we got, the cleanest build has to go to RJ FPV.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful quad, and it was, you can tell he put a lot of thought and care into it.
Mm.
And it's kind of sad that we have to give him this next award, which is Crash of the Year, because man, I can tell that build definitely got screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, never have I seen a crash so cinematic in my life. And it's emotional because crashing is a part of FPV, and it's always crazy. I'm the kind of person that when I think about it, I'm like every time my props get scuffed up, I want to change them. just because I like having that clean look. So not only can RJ build one hell of a quad, he can crash it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm proud to give both of these awards to RJ FPV.
Yeah, so RJ, he really just he understands the fact that if you are not crashing, you are not trying. A ship is safe at harbor, but it's not what a ship is made to do. He understands that in order to get better, you must go out and you must crash. No matter how clean and how pretty the build looks, you have to go out there, you have to full send and just give it your all no matter what the outcome is. So that's why we wanted to give him the win today.
For our next award, it is the FPV Joker Award. This is someone who constantly is able to make you laugh, be serious and unserious at the same time, just a heartwarming and funny person.
Yeah, okay. So this award is going to Momo. So Momo has gone throughout YRZ since its start to the finish, and not just has he gone through it, but he is
Hey, it
kind
ain't
of,
finished yet.
huh?
It ain't finished yet.
It's not finished yet, no. But he's been able to just go through YRZ and has seen like all the stages of like starting as a young ripper, then moving out and really growing up. And
Momo is definitely, he's he's something. He's actually getting married. He just proposed to his girlfriend, now fiance. Yeah. I hope he invites both you and me to that event. If not, we're definitely going to crash that wedding
we're showing up.
because, I mean, dude, if you're funny, we're funny. But congratulations for being the FPV Joker and for your marriage, Momo. We're really glad to see where you came from in this community and how you led a lot of us, and how you were there for a lot of people. You're a very important person to YRZ, and we just hope everything goes amazing for you.
Mhm. So in our next category, we have the biggest trick. So FPV is all about tricks. And you can have these like long lines, these cool things, but at the end of the day, what people want to see is the biggest tricks, the most complicated sins, and that's what we have today. And this award is going to Skids FPV.
Hey guys, my name is Peter, but in the FPV world I go by Skids FPV, and I'm a passionate freestyle pilot located in Oklahoma. And about 2 years ago I started flying freestyle, and I've been in love with it ever since. And it's on my mind constantly, and it's just my passion, and I love it so much, and I love this community of people. And yeah.
Skids is always full sending. He's trying these big maneuvers no matter whether it works or whether it doesn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, Skids is. I think Skids is really an inspiration to rippers around the world. And I think, anyone who's just starting FPV, if you were going to show them a video of how to get into FPV, just something to entice them, man, something to really pull them in. Something that looks good without seeming too hard at the same time. I would definitely show them a Skids video,
Oh, yeah.
just because he has that combination of cleanliness with complication at the same time. So he makes difficult things look smooth, and I think it's really easy to enjoy and consume as a pilot. And as someone, if I'm coming from the side of, hey, I don't even really know a lot about FPV, I think skids would be really easy to consume as well and try to get into it as a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now there's another side to FPV, and that is the idea of having the longest takes you can possibly have. So FPV, you have these big giant sins, but you can also have these long and smooth lines. And so cool enough, whenever you know that you have found a good pilot is whenever they can incorporate both of them together. And that is why Skids FPV has also won the best one take slash cleanest line. So these clean lines are all about the technical excellence of FPV freestyle. Your ability to not overcorrect on maneuvers, your ability to perfectly just do everything that you're trying to do, look fully in control, not messing up once throughout the whole entire flight. And that's why I think he deserves it today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, the way the way Skids can send with such confidence and such vigor, just being able to go straight into it like you have infinite health, infinite stamina. Just, your battery's going to last forever and you have nothing to worry about, as if, the obstacles around you avoid your drone instead of you having to avoid them. It's really amazing to watch. He's definitely going to be huge one day. I know it, I think once again, if you have anybody that is thinking about getting an FPV and you want to show them something that seems complex but is also so smooth at the same time, definitely show them a Skids FPV video because the way he makes it look so simple, yet once you really know how complicated it is, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so now on the opposite end from FPV freestyle, we have the cinematic side of FPV. And so cinematic is all about the smoothest and best lined up shots. It's all about the location, your camera settings, your ability to just fly as precisely and smoothly as possible. So one of the names that has really stuck out to me in cinematic FPV is going to be FPV Elias.
Hello, I am Elias from Germany. I'm 17 years old and I've been flying FPV since almost 2 years now. I'm sitting here alone out in the darkness because it's really late. Some lights here, but I don't really care. So Miles asked me what FPV means to me. For me, FPV means literally building your own quads. Go out to fly just to have the fun. Sometimes alone, sometimes with friends. The real fun for me starts when I'm spawning at a super cool spot like a bando or some mountains to surf them down, for example. That I really love that. Thanks to Bennett, by the way, he invited me to this award, and now I've won the cinematic part. That's really cool. So I wish you guys a good time. Bye bye.
He really just came out of nowhere for me. I saw one of his videos scrolling on Instagram one day, and I was like, holy cow, who is this kid? And he was just a kid, a YRZ pilot. Crazy enough. So that's why I think he deserves it today.
Yeah, Elias has a lot of potential to go far. I believe he already has his Part 107 license. If not, then man, he better get it fast because there's just so much potential within that kid for the cinematic scope of things. I can just imagine his shots being framed in movies and so many scenes, dude. Ads, movies, TV shows, everything. And FPV pilots for cinematography is growing so large as a platform. And I think, Elias has such skill and he's still pretty young. So, just gonna go far, really, with cinematography. For our next award, we have Racer of the Year. Now, this was a really close pick for both me and Bennett to decide because a lot of people are getting into FPV drone racing lately, and a lot of people are showing amazing potential. But we ended up coming to the conclusion that no one but pre-FPV deserves the award for Racer of the Year. I've been watching Pre on TikTok live streams for a while. That's how I was introduced to him as, a new pilot to Florida. I was looking for pilots in Florida and I found Pre. And man, just watching him, it started off with him on, the simulator, practicing, freestyle tricks and mainly a lot of, practicing racing on the sim. And a lot of my experience with pre-FPV is watching him on the simulator and, through his TikTok live streams. And it's just amazing to see how far he's come from going from the simulator to real racing and how improved he's become. Sure, he might not know every trick name and he might get confused sometimes if you watch the Rotor Riot videos with him in it, but still, he is a very skilled pilot, amazing racer, one hell of a person. I was very lucky to recently meet him for a short amount of time. I wish I had gotten to say more to him and speak a lot more with him. Even take a photo with him, but I forgot. And I'm just really proud to see how far he's gone from just a simple dude making his TikTok live streams, flying FPV, showing people, to working with Rotor Riot and being a really one hell of a racer.
Hmm. Yeah, racing is
And
such
on
a.
that note,
Sorry.
no, yeah, you can go. On that note, Bennett FPV has recently gotten to racing, and he is also one hell of a racer.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so racing, especially as I'm starting to get into it, you realize how different of an aspect it is compared to freestyle. Freestyle is a very subjective type of thing where you have different styles, different objectives, just it's very different compared to racing. Racing, there is one winner, and all the other people lost that race, and there's no ambiguity to that. So you won the race or you didn't, and it really takes some skill to be able to find the perfect line to take while also being able to judge risk under pressure. I really feel like it can make or break whether someone is a good pilot or not, depending on how good they are at racing.
Yeah, very well said. And as we lean into this next award, just want to say, racing is a lot of skill, and it takes a lot of time to improve and get good. And for our next award, I have the most improved pilot award. So, who we've seen throughout the year improve so very much. And we once more have to give another award to pre-FPV because he is not only one hell of a racer, but as I said, I've watched him grow and he has improved so much. And it's amazing because when I first watched him, he was already really good, but now he's a whole different level of good. And with FPV, it's not just how you have a skill gap of video games where you're either bad or you're good. With FPV, you have these mountains and these peaks, and here you might be just starting, and then you're good for a certain level, and then you got to go down, and it's like you're relearning everything you already knew to get to an even higher level of being good. And it's a lot of up and downs, trying to relearn and reassociate yourself with how to do a trick with a certain kind of motion or a certain pathway to get better at it and find your improvement. And Pre has come a long way and has really done that and figured out how to do it each time. He's getting up the mountain and he's climbing back down and he's going up the higher one with a whole new level of knowledge to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really proud of how far he's going and how far he's come. And I know he's going to go way farther.
Yeah, Pre is such an inspiration to me as in freestyle, some people can really just kind of take it chill, just be okay with the way that they fly. But watching Pre, he is constantly pushing himself, constantly getting better, even just in these last couple of months, as he went from someone who I didn't know exist to a sponsor pilot, to then even in these last couple of months, just becoming so, so good so fast is truly inspirational, and I hope I can catch him one day. So this next category is clip of the year. And so this clip is coming from one of the coolest freestyle locations on the planet, and that is Rotor Riot Rampage. So Rotor Riot Rampage happened a couple months ago, and each year they have a freestyle competition that brings together some of the most talented and skilled pilots out there, and specifically in the U.S. So one of our own,
In the world too.
yeah,
People come from all over.
mm-hmm.
And it's a really good event held in South Carolina in a small town on a really nice government training institute is where it's called, GTI, really nice spot. And sure, a lot of US pilots come out, but even pilots from across the road come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really fun time. It might get some slander, but that slander is like just, people hating. People be hating.
People always. Yep. But so from this Rotor Riot Rampage, they had their freestyle event, and only one pilot came out on top. That pilot was again pre-FPV. Pre-FPV showed his skill under pressure. He was able to perform not just through Instagram after 100 batteries trying the exact same line over and over, but he was able to, with all of these people watching, all of these big companies, these big names in FPV, he was able to throw down some of the craziest tricks I've seen at Rotor Riot Rampage. And that's why I'm so proud of him for both winning that event and winning this category today.
Yeah, Pre definitely deserves to win the clip of the year. It is one hell of a freestyle run. And well, what you can take from that is, not only, has he come far, but he's been able to prove how far he's come in FPV. And along with, doing this one take, one pack, just shooting right into the fog, making your run. That's really important, especially if you want to try to find a career using FPV drones, because a lot of companies want to hire the person who can do it in one pack, who can do it in one run, who can, just go and get the footage they need. And that's, a really great skill that Pre shows off by not only winning those previous two categories, but also winning the clip of the year and showing in front of these people that he's never met, in front of these pro pilots who do this for a living, that he can not only compete with them, but be by their side at the same time in one pack and just go. And it's one hell of a clip to watch.
Yeah.
One hell of a run. So before we get into our final categories of the day, and I want to say FPV is something that can really connect a lot of people. You're outside just like me, connecting with life, or maybe you're inside like Bennett, connecting, with small things in your house by piloting loops and finding lines out of things that just exist, or whether they were there naturally or whether you put them there. And for that, before we get into our final categories, I wanted to do a couple honorable mentions of pilots who didn't exactly win an award, but have shown that they have really great potential, really great prospects, and just a lot. So for our first honorable mention, I wanted to mention Arizona FPV for this video he made. We'll throw a clip up there. And I think it just shows, I want to give him the award for most potential, essentially, as an honorable mention. Because, he's a young guy. I remember I met him at Rampage one time. He's really friendly, really nice. He's really into FPV, and he has so much potential in this hobby to go far. For, my second honorable mention, I want to mention Lunatic FPV. He was a really close friend of mine. He's doing big things now. I want to mention him for coolest creation of his BB-13 freestyle beast class drone. Really cool. Really nice. It just shows that there is no limit to innovation within this hobby. And then did you have any honorable mentions, Bennett?
And so for my honorable mentions, I want to shout out to two kids who I met recently at a race with Dallas Drone Racing. The first one being Rowdy Rotor. He is a pilot, both a freestyle and a racing pilot, who has really come up extremely quickly around the same time as me and is just getting super good and is also super fast on the racetrack very quickly. And my second one is going to be Annihilation Robotics. He is someone who just recently beat me at the race in Dallas, getting first place there, and is also a pilot for Major League Drone Racing. And I think that he is going to get very good, very fast, and he really has some great potential. So want to give him, both of them, a shout out.
And then one more final honorable mention to Red X FPV. I want to call him the king of Spang because he is doing really good at that Spang freestyle work, which is so hard to get into. I thought, looking at Spang, I'm like, oh man, this can't be too bad. But no, Spang takes a lot of skill, a lot of practice, and Red X is really good at what he's doing with the Spang.
Mm-hmm.
He's Spang-tastic. So for the final three awards, well, there's actually four, but three of them will be announced by Bubby FPV himself. Those are going to be the Flight of the Year Award, the Pilot of the Year Award, and the Freestyle King or Queen. So let's pass it on to Bubby FPV for those.
Okay, now I'm not quite Bubby, who you were looking for, but I am here to announce our Pilot of the Year, Flight of the Year, and our Freestyle King award. So, for this award, I will proudly give it to Boo FPV. Boo FPV has really just come up this last year with me, only discovering him then and seeing him win all of these freestyle competitions out of nowhere. He's truly an inspiration to me, trying to just, learn to fly like him the way that he does, so confidently and precisely. He's truly a master of his craft. This kid has gone from just a regular freestyle like so many of us to sponsored pilot to winning all of these competitions and would have gone all the way in the competition that never really happened, if you know what I'm talking about. But we may never know the answer to that one. However, we do know how great of a pilot he is today. And I already know that if he continues on this path, then he could just become one of the best in the world. So that's why I'm so happy to give him the awards today.
So, as a bonus special last award, me and Bennett would really like to honor Bubby FPV.
Yeah, so Bubby, he is the one who started this Discord, started YRZ, got it all up and running, and he has just always been an inspiration to young rippers, just all kids in FPV, and even people older than himself. Bubby has been an inspiration to me, along as many others, for the way that he flies his drones, the way he treats other people, the way he runs his channel, all those things. He's just been a great person to be able to look up to, and one of the biggest names and the best names to be high up in FPV.
As Bennett said, Bubby has started YRZ. He has been here since the very start, and he has been an inspiration to so many people. And he has gone so far in life with FPV as a whole. That is why we are honoring Bubby, the one and only YRZ Lifetime Award. Only one person will ever get this, and that is Bubby himself.
Mhm.
It is a one and done award to represent how much he means to this community, to YRZ as a whole, and to FPV. I remember when I first met Bubby at Rampage, and I recently got to see him again in Orlando. And, it's always great to see him because he's always cheerful, he's always there, and, he's always hardworking. Congratulations, Bubby, and thank you for starting YRZ, bringing this community into the world for all of us to enjoy, and for giving me and Bennett something to take care of and try and progress even farther and provide what you did for us to many more people.
Mhm. Okay, so this was the YRZ Awards. Thank you for everyone who entered into our little competition thing. Thank you to everyone who's watching this video. Hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have any ideas for videos that we can make in the future, we'd love to hear about them. If you would like to join the YRZ Discord channel, then just DM me, either me at BennetFPV or Missile@FPV on Instagram, and we can get you the invite link to join us and just join the Discord, have a good time in there, and yeah.
You can also DM the YRZ Instagram account, and me or Bennett will personally be on there to respond to you and send an invite. Or, if you want to get featured in a YRZ Instagram post or maybe even another YouTube video later on, we have a lot of great things coming. And just thank you to everyone who supports us. Thank you to everyone in the Discord. And this is to another so many years of YRZ.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye.